Yeah. What do you think qualifies you for this position?
First of all, I am the secretary right now, and before that, I worked as a secretary for freshman grade leaders and sophomore grade leaders, so kind of at the start, I have experience doing the work that I'd have to do next year. And also, I'm a member of the Classic, and I have good organization and communication skills.
Thank you, Krish. Miriam, you now have 30 seconds for your rebuttal starting now.
May I ask what you've accomplished as being the secretary for the 24 to 25 school year?
Yeah, so in addition to doing normal secretary responsibilities like taking notes at consultative council, grade leaders, senate, etc., I also served as the director for the events planning committee and kind of worked to make an internship guide for all of you guys that you guys can check out, and also worked to create volunteer opportunities and mentor other senators. And in addition, I've worked to sort of create more opportunities for people and kind of push those opportunities out, which you'll see in Google Drive orders for the SE.
All right. Krish, your rebuttal?
Oh yeah, so to continue, some of the things I want to see happening next year is I want to continue prioritizing open and honest communication, update the internship guide, which you guys should check out, and the community service handbook, and creating a shared Google Calendar for all SU members so everybody knows right here and whoever gets elected knows exactly what's going on, when, and what they have to do.
Let's move on to the next question. Krish, how would you make sure students and staff stay informed about upcoming events and decisions?
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the biggest issues we have right now is actually over-communication, where all of you guys are getting mad emails, a lot of work, and a lot of stuff that you guys don't want to read, and you guys are not informed. So I think streamlining that into maybe on Jupyter or having it sort of put into one place, I think would help, and sort of having teachers and students maybe say it in the beginning, and maybe more than just having it on the announcements.
Thank you. Miriam, your response?
So I think instead of just having emails, it'd be great if all students can be encouraged to have the platform Saturn. They'll be sent reminders for like student birthdays or announcements. And also, I think having reminders on the Townsend Harris website, along with important tasks for the day.
Krish, your rebuttal?
I agree, that's also a really good idea, and I think that we should also have sort of profiles for the SU where people can come up to them and ask them what's going on, what's the event happening, and sort of use more, because right now we only use really Instagram and Jupyter, which are good, but a lot of people forget stuff, so I think having the sort of like SU people trained in order to answer questions and have a perfect answer for every question you guys might have.
And now Miriam, your rebuttal?
I definitely agree with that. I think that instead of it just being the SU presenting ideas and events to students, the student body should be sending ideas and concerns and things like that through surveys. And I think that's really important for a more connected student union, board, and students.
Okay, thank you. And for our final question, how do you intend to maintain all documents organized and accessible to the public? Miriam.
So I think by using the new tab feature on Google Docs, it'll be really organized and sharing it with all of the SU members. I also think communicating well with all of them and ensuring that they know what's going on, and by also having collaborative reminders and calendars where that's also shared with all SU members.
Thank you. Krish, your response?
Yeah, I agree. I think making sure that all the SU members and grade leaders and senators and students know exactly what's going on is an important part of being the secretary. So I would create that shared Google Calendar where all the grade leaders, senators, and SU members are added and can understand what's going on, and links to the internship guide and volunteer opportunities guide and other guides like that should be sent out every week for people to see and for people to use.
Thank you. Miriam, your rebuttal?
I think the internship guide would be really important, but I also think that for me as a student, it was kind of difficult to navigate it and also kind of find it. So I think by having that internship guide kind of like also on the Townsend Harris website, I also think that kind of not important documents and announcements, I do believe that should be on the Townsend Harris website. I will try to work my hardest to incorporate that there.
And finally, Chris, your rebuttal.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Townsend Harris website is a great resource for everybody, but I think that a lot of people don't really use it or go to it. So I think having that on Jupyter or having that on Google Classroom, but in a not overwhelming way, would be a better idea because you guys check that every day. You guys are not checking the Townsend Harris website every day, but you guys are checking these platforms, but not having 100 of it sent to you guys, I think is more beneficial.
Thank you so much, Krish. It seems like that is time. Alright, let us introduce our next candidates. Our club liaison candidates, Aki and Tessina.
Okay, we will be starting off with Aki, followed by Tessina. Same guidelines apply, 45-second opening statement and 30-second response and rebuttal.
Aki, may start off your opening statement.
Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Make some noise. I'm Aki Benjamin, and I'm so excited to be running to be your next club liaison. I'm an experienced candidate, having been an SU member, a club treasurer, a club secretary, and the freshman-sophomore class president, so thus the president of freshman and sophomore grade leaders over the last year. I'm really excited for the chance to tell you all a bit about myself. I've been so honored to work with our amazing club liaisons over the past 2 years, and I hope to continue their work to create the best possible club system for us, so we can enjoy these great activities that our school provides, together. That's why you should vote Aki for the victory. Thank you!
Tessina, you have the floor.
Good morning, Townsend Harris. I'm Tessina Anjum, and I'm running to be your club liaison for the next school year. I've already worked closely as one of your executives at larges this past year, learning the ins and outs of what works and what really doesn't. That's why I'm ready with actual plans, not just promises. I'll reform the confusing club credit system, introduce a fun and effective Find a Club quiz for all our incoming freshmen and sophomores and the whole student body, and I'll help to make sure every student can find their fit. I'll launch a club highlight series to make sure that every club gets the spotlight it deserves, and I'll also make sure that the club president meetings are consistent and meaningful. For a smoother and more connected experience, for any club big or small, vote Tessina, she's here for all.
Thank you, Tessina. Aki, what are your plans if elected for this position?
Honestly, I have to say, Tessina, these are some really good plans that you have here. I do think that a club highlights reel is really important. I do think that making sure that we all have opportunities for us to know what our club credit requirements are is important. And I do think expanding opportunities to freshmen and to sophomores who have so many great ideas about founding new clubs is really important. But I have to say, since you've been working so closely on the club system this past year, and it seems that none of these things have actually been done. So why are they not done?
Thank you, Aki. Thank you. Tessina? Tessina, your response?
So to answer that question, so the reason that none of these things have been working out so far is because I have not been able to have the leading role in all of these. I have been more as like a supplement to help the current club liaison, and my ideas have been in the forefront as they will be in the following year. So my ideas, they will be implemented greatly and very effectively. I'll work on a lot of my proposals over the summer, so then by the school.
Thank you, Tessina. Aki, your rebuttal?
So you say that you're playing a supplemental role. So are you saying that this qualifies you to be club liaison? Or are you saying that you don't have the experience to be club liaison? Because if you're playing a supplemental role, then how do we know that you necessarily know what's going on and how to do these things that you so want to implement? I have a track record of implementing things in the freshman and sophomore grades, making things happen. And it seems, based on your response to this last question, that you do not have this track record of making the things that you want happen.
Thank you, Aki. Tessina, your rebuttal?
So to answer that statement, the reason these things haven't been happening, as I said before, was because I played the supplementary role. But because I was a supplementary role does not take away from my ability to actually get things done. Since I was working behind the scenes, I know a lot of the things that have been done and how to implement things even further, and I know the ins and outs of what needs to be improved and what we already have that's working well. And so I know better than you, perhaps, how to do all of these things.
Thank you so much, Christina. This is just a request for the audience. If you could please hold your applause until the end of the debate round. Thank you so much. So for your next question, Christina, do you intend to reform the current club application process, and if so, how?
So the current club application process, I do believe that there is a lot of space for improvement, as there is with most things. And I believe that one of the biggest things would be more communication and more structure to the process. I feel as though that there are areas within the application process that could be worked on better. For example, the interviews falling into the proper time slots, or the questions that may have been asked, or even the process.
Okay, thank you so much, Lucina. Aki, your response?
These are all some great things and very important procedural changes. As freshman-sophomore class president, I've been on the ground. I've been listening to freshmen and sophomores and even juniors and seniors who've been bringing up things to me about the club application process. How many of you here are freshmen? Raise your hands. I can see quite a lot of you. Now, how many of you think that you have some sort of a good idea about a club? Yeah, that's quite a significant few of you. I want to expand this process to include the younger grades more and for everyone to get the equal opportunity to found something. Thank you.
Thank you, Aki. Lucina, your rebuttal?
So I do agree that there should be a significant emphasis on our freshman and our sophomore grades, but also I feel like we shouldn't neglect the older classmen who also have a significant spot in this school. But to add on to your idea, that I do believe that the freshmen and sophomores should be prioritized within the with my new club quiz that will help them find their own clubs. But I do think that the juniors.
All right, thank you so much, Lucina. Aki, your response?
So you said that you were playing a supplementary role this year, just going back to that. So you're saying that you essentially could have put your input into this whole club application process in your supplementary role. So what was your input there? Why, for example, do we have all of these freshmen here who were not necessarily allowed to start a club, or transfer students who weren't necessarily allowed to start a club, if you're supporting this now?
Can you clarify your question, please?
So freshmen are not necessarily allowed to start a club because the requirement is 2 academic semesters. And you're saying that you want to expand freshman input into these things. So how do you plan to expand that if you weren't able to get freshmen to be able to start a club this year? How do you plan to go beyond the supplementary role that you already have? And how do we know that you're going to fight for what's actually going on, as I have a proven track record of doing?
So as club liaison, I will obviously have more of an input into all of these things, as I will be leading all of them. And so the reason that I think the role of freshmen should be expanded but also limited is because the way that freshmen are new to the school. They obviously need leadership. So I believe for the best community, they should be allowed to have that leadership and to be allowed to have that sort of guidance from the other grades to ensure that whatever they go on to do would be better.
Aki, your rebuttal.
So how do you plan to include their input if you're just saying that we want to have their input? Of course, we want to have everyone's input, but how do you plan to make sure that actually happens?
So I plan to make sure that the freshmen and all the other grades, there could be an anonymous question on, say, the Google Classrooms that would allow them to put in their input about whatever club issues are going on right now. For example, if they think that like a certain club has any can be rather improved, they can let that be known anonymously rather than going to the club members and creating a tense situation. And I also think for the overall application process that not only should this anonymous questionnaire be implemented, but they should also be allowed to come up to us and let us know their ideas.
And why isn't this already in place if you've been playing this supplemental role to try to expand the clubs to all the students?
So because I was playing that supplement.
Next question. Aki, aside from auditing clubs and tracking club attendance to ensure basic functionality, how do you plan on ensuring clubs' longevity for future years?
That's a really great question. And honestly, I think that ensuring longevity means that we are expanding ideas to everyone. Because you're right, Christina, we do need the ideas of the upperclassmen who know what makes a club great, what makes a club successful, because they've been to these clubs for years and years and years now. But we also need the new voices of the younger grades, who are really going to be the ones who are ensuring the longevity here. Why do you want to keep this club? What could make this club better? And how do we continue to improve every single club so we keep longevity? And that's why I think it's so...
Christina, your response to the same question?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. Aside from auditing clubs and tracking club attendance to ensure basic functionality, how do you plan on ensuring clubs' longevity for future years?
So I think to ensure longevity, everything starts fundamentally at the club application process. We have to make sure that there's a much stricter process, and we have to make sure that the people we elect to be on these boards for these clubs have the right intentions and can go on with the proper ideas, and that they have experience to do it in the way that would benefit not only just the club, but the student body as a whole.
Aki, your rebuttal?
These are genuinely good points. We do want to make sure that everything starts from the start. But we also want to make sure that the clubs that we already have are strong. And we're not going to make every club reapply through the club application process. We want to get the input of people who are in the club now and people who would potentially want to join the club if something was run differently, and put that all together. I have a plan where I would like to discuss individually with club presidents about the results of their club audits, as well as at club presidents' meetings, how they could improve and how others think that they could improve to work better together. Thank you.
So I agree with that. I think that's also a very valid thing to say. And my plan to do that would be to implement more consistent and more effective club president meetings to make sure that they're meaningful and that we actually get value out of these. Because right now our club president meetings tend to be online, and there tends to be a very big disconnect between the liaison, between the SU, between all these clubs. So I will make sure that all of these things are done on it.
Thank you. And thank you to our club liaison candidates. Your debate period is now over.
Now for the debate posting you have been waiting for. Our freshman-sophomore class president candidates. You may now come up. All right. So as a reminder, the FSC debate will have a 30-second opening statement and 45-second open rebuttal. This means that during the rebuttal process, you may speak and interrupt each other, but please be mindful about your candidates. So we're going to start all the way from the left to the right from this side. You may start off with your opening statements.
Hi everyone, my name is Chloe Lee and I'm so excited to be running to be your next freshman-sophomore class president. The reason I want this role is not only because I care about making the school a better place, but because I want everyone to have such a memorable year like I did, and to represent your ideas, concerns, and goals. Whether it's planning fun events, making Spirit Days more exciting, or just making school a more positive place, we can do it together. If you felt this year wasn't your year, I'll make sure next year does. So if you're looking for someone who's committed, approachable, and ready to make a difference, give me your votes and I'll take notes. Thank you.
You may begin your opening statement.
Good morning, Townsend Harris High School. I'm Kayla Ujani, and I'm running to be your next freshman-sophomore co-class president. I've already taken the initiative to get funds for our school clubs by reaching out to an international company called Rakuten that has agreed to donate to our clubs. I also plan to create a Rakuten account that all parents have access to, so when they buy things online, cashbacks go back to the account. For example, if you buy a shirt from Macy's for $50, a small amount of money, like $7.50, will go back to the account. With the help of our Townsend community, the amount can increase. This money can be used for clubs. I also aim to raise awareness on long commutes.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, so
Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Nabiha Said, and I'm excited to be one of your future freshman sophomore co-class presidents. I'm dedicated to supporting our community
community with active involvement in the Senate and freshman grade leaders, over 112 hours volunteering for school events, tutoring and publishing multiple articles about your concerns. You need someone who will speak for you to communicate between the student body and SU properly, something we know can be a bit of a struggle. I'm willing and able to provide that strong voice to advocate for your opinions and maintain seamless communication. After all, those who know me know I love to talk. Additionally, I will provide you with realistic and beneficial goals, improving the organization's grade leaders.
Hello everyone, my name is Evita Singh, or Sid as most people know me as, and I'm one of your candidates for freshman sophomore class president. Now, you guys deserve a president who's not only reliable, but has proof of what they've done so far. Since day one, I've been helping the school in FGL and Senate. Every single event that FGL has produced so far, I've played a significant role in. I believe that we, as a freshman sophomore class president, should help the incoming freshmen and their transition into high school. I want to implement new programs and a better Townsend Harris website in order to make information reliable. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So for the next 5 questions, you each have the opportunity to answer in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, so you'll each get an individual 30 seconds to answer the question before the rebuttal period. So, the first question. Considering the amount of competition for freshman sophomore class president this year, what distinguishes you from the other candidates?
Okay, so I want to make a movement that whoever's running for freshman sophomore class president can run in pairs, because just like SU vice president and president, I think it'd be very more helpful if freshmen were able to run in pairs.
Moving on, next candidate.
I think I'm pretty qualified for this role because I've already reached out and taken the initiative, and I've already gotten an international company called Robinson to actually donate to our clubs. And not only that, but I actually have a way that we can raise funds for clubs continuously. So it's not a one-time thing. Not only that, but I'm also working to promote small clubs, do more club fairs, and giving them more of my time and morning announcements, and making it so that I can raise awareness on long commutes and to create late passes for those who experience delays in the MTA. Thank you.
Thank you. Next candidate.
I'm qualified to be one of your class presidents because I have proven throughout this entire school year that I've been an active freshman grade leader, active senator, and I've already gotten around 112 hours in the fall semester alone. I've been actively involved in my community in multiple clubs where I've constantly helped out at other schools, and I've dedicated a lot of my time, and I'm willing to improve everything for you guys in freshman grade leaders, improving the organization, arranging more school-wide events, providing more attainable ways to get funding, and most importantly, being the voice you need. And I've done that throughout this entire school year. So.
Thank you. And for our final candidate,
I'm qualified to be your freshman sophomore class president because from day one I've been dedicated to helping the school. I haven't just started making these claims now. If you knew me in September, you knew how much I loved this school and you knew how much I wanted to help. If you went to the scavenger hunt or even the students versus staff volleyball game, you saw me there. You saw me helping. So make sure you see me as your next president.
Thank you so much. And now move on to the other section. You will all have 45 seconds. Anybody may start. Please speak. Starting now.
Kayla, I have a question for you. You're saying all these things about money. Why did you choose to run for freshman sophomore class president instead of treasurer, where you would be more adaptable and better suited to handle funds in the school?
I chose to run for freshman sophomore class president because I feel that I could also help organize events better, because I was also planning on making a Squid Game event, and I was also planning on making communication within the freshman grade leaders and sophomore grade leaders better. I just didn't get to mention it earlier. For example, you know how the freshman grade leader group chat is on Instagram right now, but sometimes there's a lot of spam in it. So I was thinking that we could move it to Discord so that there's an announcement channel and people can actually get the information they need. Also, I would like to ask.
Okay, thank you so much. Now moving on to our second question, which every candidate will again have the opportunity to answer. How will you collaborate with, work alongside, and maintain a strong working relationship with your prospective co-freshman sophomore class president throughout the year?
Well, I know this position is not a solo role, it requires a whole team, and I'm very experienced with leading a team as I've been club and school volleyball captain, and I also know a lot of people on the SU board.
Oh yeah. How will you collaborate with, work alongside, and maintain a strong working relationship with your prospective co-freshman sophomore class president throughout the year?
I'll maintain a good, I'll work together with the other freshman sophomore co-class president, and I'll make sure that we communicate properly, and I'll also like try to like use some icebreakers to like get closer to them and actually maintain a relationship with them so that I can get closer to them and we can like work together better.
Next candidate.
I will be able to delegate tasks between me and my prospective class president by kind of like seeing who can focus more on the freshman grade leaders, who can focus more on the sophomore grade leaders, or also just like delegating tasks. And we can also get to know each other more by maybe hanging out and like also like doing questions. That's a really good idea. And like other things like sharing information about each other, and like also we could hang out more and delegate responsibilities.
All right, thank you. Okay, last candidate.
Being a co-president means that you have to work as a team, not only with your other president, but with FGL and SGL. I think that to be a part of a team, you have to understand the community you're working for. Being in Sing, Vaughn, and on the volleyball team has helped me so much to understand what the community wants and what they need. Being able to work with my co-president would help me really understand parts of the school I haven't been able to see before.
All right, great job, candidates. So now you guys, again, have 45 seconds to rebut. Please make sure you use your time wisely, and you guys can't interrupt each other.
Sadini, I have a question for you. So you know how on like your Instagram account, you said that you wanted to lower costs of mandatory items, but you also want to get better equipment for sing and like sports teams. How do you plan on doing that if you're decreasing the amount of money that the school gets?
I never said I would decrease the amount of money the school would get, but I think that we need to better delegate where our money is being spent. I think we need to look at our priorities, and I think our amazing sports teams, our fencing team went to playoffs this weekend actually, and I've heard several complaints from the team members that their equipment isn't suitable enough, and I believe each student deserves their chance to shine in their sport. I also believe each student, if they can't afford something that's school mandatory, they shouldn't automatically not be able to participate in things, like the SU card having several complaints, and people complain about having to spend $100 just to exist in the school.
All right, so for the third question, how will you ensure that you balance the needs and concerns of both the class of 2028 and the class of 2029, especially when they may have different priorities? Okay. So how will you ensure you're going to balance the needs of both classes, class of 2028 and class of 2029, especially when they have different priorities?
Okay, so the freshmen will be new to this school, and with my help, I'm sure that they'll be able to fit in really nicely, as I've worked with a lot of people, and I'm very good at being a messenger between teachers and students. And I've played a big role in freshman grade leaders, and I'm currently an active class senator, so I'm very good at public speaking.
Oh yeah. So how will you ensure you'll balance the needs and concerns of both the class of 28 and class of 29, especially when they have different priorities?
Well, maybe I can like delegate tasks, so like maybe I can like take care of the freshmen, and then the other person can take care of the sophomores. And not only that, but I've already been sending out Google Forms where I'm asking people, like on my Instagram account, I'm like asking what problems you see in the school that should be fixed. So I'm already like taking the initiative to like try to get input from everyone. And I think by posting those forms more and getting people to do it more, that I could get better input to like adjust and like try to help everyone's needs, including the freshmen as well.
Next candidate.
I can work with my co-president, and we could kind of like delegate different tasks. We can constantly check in with the freshmen and the sophomores and ask what they need, and like we could also, since the freshmen are going to be new, we could spend more time at the beginning of the year, like helping them get a bit more organized. Like one way I'm proposing to do that is by creating committees, and we can help them sort of get a good understanding of what they do as freshman grade leaders. And then for the sophomore grade leaders, we can continue doing what we've been doing as freshmen this year, and freshman grade leaders this year, and we can delegate responsibilities between me and my partner.
All right, thank you. Next candidate, please.
I agree with Navina, actually. I think we can take a similar stance as Aki and Jordana did. Beginning of the year being in FGL, we were really guided and kind of given a step-to-step process on what to do. But during the nearing ends of the year, we kind of were on our own, especially for the recent students versus staff volleyball game. I think that we should see and also work with my co-president to decide what's our best priority. Does a bake sale need our supervision or a grade-wide event? And we can pick and choose and tackle the problem together.
Okay, so for the final round of rebuttals. You guys will have 1 minute this time. Please, again, make sure you're keeping in mind of the time, and please give other candidates a chance to speak. Thank you.
Kayla, you said you had a form in your Instagram saying to address any concerns. Have you gotten a lot of answers, and what have you done to fix those problems?
Well, I haven't gotten that many answers yet, but if I do become FSCP, I think I would definitely get a lot more answers that I could actually try to solve. And someone already pointed out that someone already asked if we can have no zero band testing, and I was thinking we might be able to do that, but because if you think about it, a lot of schools don't have zero band tests, and they don't even have zero band. So it's kind of unfair because they get to have tests later on in the day, which means that they'll probably have greater scores because they get more sleep. While we can have less scores, we might have lower scores because we get less sleep since we have to wake up so early.
Anyone else can speak now?
How exactly do you plan on accomplishing your goals?
Can you be more specific about which goals?
Oh yeah, on your Instagram account.
All right, thank you so much. You may now be seated. Thank you to our freshman sophomore class presidents. It seems like all the time we have. We'll be all have fun. Remember the class open tomorrow at 6 a.m. and close on Wednesday 11:59 p.m. So please, when leaving the auditorium, please allow our classes closest to the stage to exit first. That is all we have for today. See you next time.
All right, everybody, listen up. We're going to get started here for the 2025 Townsend Harris High School SU debate. Students, children, let's listen up, please. Okay, so we have a couple of good debates for you guys to see today. All right, I give credit to the people that are sitting up on this stage. It is quite the risk to come up here and run for a position, especially at the SU. It is a lot of work. All right, so first and foremost, I want to wish all of y'all the best of luck in this election. All right, thank you for stepping up and helping to make the community here at Townsend Harris better. All right, and also to our outgoing seniors, those of you that have been on the board for multiple years, thank you very much for your service. You guys really set a good tone and are examples to our underclassmen. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to hand off to your SU president, Alex Yowery, to go over the rules of the debate.
Thank you, Mr. Bellman. Thank you. Hello, Harrisites. Welcome to Townsend Harris's annual student union debate. My name is Alex, the current student union president, and I'm thrilled to be here today.
Hi, my name is Anastasia. I'm your current SU vice president, and I'm very excited to be here. Hi, my name is Aurelia, and I'm the current senior SOT, and I'm also thrilled to be here.
Hi, I'm Ethan. I'm your current senior class president. I'm very excited to be constantly ringing this annoying bell.
Thank you. Every year, the SU debate allows our candidates to showcase their leadership abilities, share their wisdom, share their vision for the future, and demonstrate their commitment to our school community.
Through a series of questions, each candidate will have the opportunity to present their ideas and show us what they have to offer. The format is as follows.
To start, each candidate will be given 45 seconds to deliver their opening statement. Afterwards, candidates will be given 30 seconds to answer each question.
Once all questions have been answered, we will move into the rebuttal round. Candidates will be given 30 seconds each to respond to their opponents and assert their stances.
As a reminder, we ask our audience to please keep your voices down and applaud after the debate, so we can hear our candidates. During this band, or beat, you'll have the opportunity to hear from our candidates running for Senate Chair, Public Relations, JSLT, Senior Class President, and if time permits, SU President, Vice President, Treasurer, SSLT, as well as Senior and Junior Class Presidents. We'll start off today with our Public Relations candidates. Please let us welcome Tabassum and Alicia to the stage. Tabassum, you may start off with your opening statements. Timer starts now.
Hey everyone, my name is Tabassum Ahmed, and I'm running to be your next public relations executive. As your current PR, I have been in charge of creating posts, media, and monthly newsletters. My goal has always been to keep students and faculty informed and engaged. With my experience and leadership around the school, being the Classic and the Athletic Association, as well as having my own photography blog, I am more than capable of producing appealing media. I am an experienced candidate and wish to continue enhancing student engagement. I'm here to make sure you stay in the loop and have a voice on what's happening around the school. So remember to elevate your vote and re-elect Tabby to promote.
Alicia, you ready to go?
Hi, my name is Alicia Selau, and I'm running for your 2025 through 2026 Public Relations Executive. This role plays a major part in managing the social media aspects of the school, which is the position that I hope to embody in the future. As a current grade leader, I have had the opportunity to create most of the content and posters for the class of 2028. My experience as a grade leader has inspired me to step up and share my creativity with the rest of the school. Using media as a form of communication is important to keep ties within the student union and the student body to ensure that voices are heard and information is easily communicated. Thank you.
All right, thank you, candidates. So now you guys will each have 30 seconds to answer the 3 questions, and you guys will also have 30 seconds for rebuttal. So, and please, audience, hold your applause till the end. So the first question is, what makes you the best fit for this position? Sebastian, you may start.
So I believe being a part of the 2024 and 25 SU board currently, my role as photography manager as well as taking photos around the school, I've been able to create media and and keep faculty and students well informed for major events, ensuring everyone is engaged and involved.
Thank you so much. Alicia, you're up.
So I would say that something unique about me is that I tend to use more creative aspects in the content that I make. So for example, I would use trends or themes and incorporate them into the content that I make in order to boost student engagement and create more informative, interactive posts.
All right, thank you so much. We're going to move on to our next, first question. Second question, apologies. Rebuttal, apologies. Tabby, you may start now.
What do you plan on enforcing that hasn't already been done?
So I would definitely try to incorporate or like be more consistent about the post. I would definitely try to post more about holidays or special traditions to relate more to our student body and show and highlight the diversity. And for Tabby, how would you say all these leadership roles affect how you how would you say all the leadership roles that you embody affect how you work as a public relations executive?
I would say being a part of the classic photography, it allows me to be, I would be already a part of the SU events, and then I would take photos for them, which also goes in hand as public relations for posting media on the SU.
Would you say that you value photography more or multimedia?
All right, thank you, candidates. So now for the second question. What kind of content do you intend to create to keep students engaged with the student union? You have 30 seconds to answer. Alicia, you may begin.
So like I said before, I would definitely try to use more themes or trends and incorporate them into the content that I make. And I would also like to expand to other social platforms and not just Instagram. So for example, I would also use TikTok. And I would also use more physical forms like posters and flyers to inform others who don't use social media as much.
Thank you. Now, Sebastian.
So this year I have increased making reels on the SU Instagram as well as posting them on TikTok. I would also say one of my main goals is to create a student spotlight to highlight our peers' academic and or athletic achievements, as well as creating more weekly check-ins to see how our student and faculties are feeling and what the SU can do for them.
All right, thank you, candidates. So now you guys have 30 seconds to rebuttal again. Alicia, you may begin.
So how would you say you would improve your role as public relations after serving 1 year? And how would you focus more on improving instead of meeting the bare minimum for this position?
I'm glad you asked. I've seen that there has been more engagement in SU events, but I would also like to implement more check-ins. I have done them monthly, but it's just...
All right, now it's Blossom.
So, One of my questions would be, how would you handle a situation where a post has little engagement? How would you improve that?
I would try to see what went wrong with the event, I would like to see what went wrong with the post and try to see what the community feels and how I can improve. And I would also work with the other student union members to see how I can improve.
All right, thank you, candidates. Now for the final question. How will you measure the effectiveness of your PR strategies, and how would you adapt them based on feedback from students? Alicia, you may begin.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
How will you measure the effectiveness of your PR strategies, and how would you adapt them based on feedback from students?
So in my campaign, I have been very consistent with my posts, and I would say, like I said before, I would use more reels, posters, and other social media platforms to promote the events that go on in the school. And especially because the events at our school are very essential to the community, I would say I would focus more on that and incorporate more creative aspects.
All right, now to Blossom, you may answer.
Could you repeat the question?
Yes. How will you measure the effectiveness of your PR strategies, and how would you adapt them based on feedback from students?
So what I would do is collaborate with our freshman, sophomore class presidents, as well as our junior class presidents, senior class presidents, to post on their accounts on Instagram to create more engagement, have them post on Google Classroom for check-ins, because I know there's some people that don't have social media, just to get everyone's point of view and how we can help them.
All right, so you guys now have your final 30 seconds of rebuttal each. Alicia, you begin.
So how would you create stronger ties between the student union and Harrisite?
Well, like I stated before, I would implement weekly check-ins, but also I would say working with the class presidents as well across with the SU board to communicate, see what their grade needs and what they want from the SU to see how we can improve and how we can help them out.
Alicia, would you like to add anything? Okay, so now to Blossom, your rebuttal.
How do you plan to bring fresh ideas to the role rather than repeating what's already been done?
So as a new candidate, I would be able to oversee this position from a new perspective, which will allow new ideas. And I will work to make student voices heard by acting as a source of communication using social platforms. And I will also ensure that posts are consistent and done on time.
All right, thank you, candidates. You may now be seated. We're going to welcome our JSOT candidates, Jillian and Ishmael, to the stand. Oh, Lillian, sorry. Lillian and Ishmael.
You both have 45 seconds for opening statements. Lillian, you may start.
Hey Harris, my name is Lillian Perella and I am running to be your next junior SLT. My goals are to represent the student body effectively, be an available and active listener for ideas and concerns from the student body, and be an effective liaison between the student body and the SLT. I aim to create a monthly forum for the student body to share their ideas and concerns about the school in order to better represent their viewpoints at the SLT meetings. I've been a class senator and a grade leader for the past 2 years, and I have worked as youth ambassador for NYC Votes, and I'm currently a youth alumni committee member. With these jobs have given me a lot of practice with public speaking, and I'm confident that I can use these skills to communicate your needs to the SLT. So remember, on May 13th and 14th, vote Lillian for junior SLT. She's 1 in a million.
All right, thank you so much, Lillian. Ishmael, whenever you're ready.
Good morning, Harrisites. My name is Ishmael Ali, and I'm running to be your next junior SLT. The position of junior SLT consists of working as a connection between the SU and the SLT. I would be thrilled to take upon this role since I enjoy being a part of student governments and being able to voice the opinions of the student body. Thus, I hope to bring together the students, the SLT, and the SU and make our community and its school better as a whole. So remember, vote ish to fulfill your wish.
Thank you so much. We're going to start off with our first question. Lillian, this is to you. What makes you the best fit for this position, and how do your experiences prepare you for it?
So as I mentioned before, I've been a class senator and a grade leader for the past 2 years, and I've worked with NYC Votes as a youth ambassador and youth alumni committee member. And both of these jobs have given me tons of practice with public speaking and just like going around the city and teaching people about voting and even helping plan events here at Townsend. So I believe that I can use these public speaking skills to communicate what you need to the SLT, and I promise to bring enthusiasm and dedication to this role if I'm elected.
Thank you so much. Ishmael, whenever you're ready.
So I have past experiences from student government since elementary school and middle school. I've been a senator at this school for 2 years, and I've been a part of SGL this year, and I've went to countless and organized countless events. I've also been in multiple honor societies and a part of many clubs in this school year as a part of Model UN and Classic Critic, which give me insight on public speaking like you. And also I have now applied for more leadership roles. And I also volunteer at multiple places, getting some insight of how to work with the public.
All right, thank you so much. Lillian, you may start your rebuttal.
So you mentioned that you're in a lot of clubs at this school, so how do you plan to balance that with your role of JSLT if you are elected?
Well, as you can see, I balance them pretty well right now because I have clubs for every day of this week. But also, being a part of the JSLT, I plan to prioritize that more since it is the SU, but it wouldn't harm for me to join it as well.
Thank you so much. Ishmael, you may start your rebuttal whenever you're ready.
You've mentioned that you're a part of clubs outside of school. How do you plan to manage that as doing JSLT in school?
As you mentioned, I have already managed this as well as you this year. I've done a lot outside of school. I've done a lot in school. I feel like I've definitely gotten a lot better with like organizing this year, and like I'm confident that I can use that to also to serve my community. Outside of school, I have over 400 service hours, and to serve my community in school with SGL, Senate, and SLT.
All right, thank you so much. We're going to move on to the next question. If elected, what would be your top priority, and how would you ensure it is accomplished? Ishmael, you may start.
Okay, I feel like the top priority is that not everyone knows what junior SLT is, so in my campaign, I've been advocating on what it is. And also, for my goals this year as JSLT, I plan to create a suggestion box and a forum to get feedback from the students, even the teachers, anyone, since it is a multi-team. Also, I plan to do newsletters on SLT monthly meetings as discussed in the SLT meetings to get an insight and to provide insight for other people outside of the meetings.
All right, thank you so much. Lillian, whenever you're ready.
I definitely agree with you, Ish. I think that all of that people know what SLT is important, and having communication between the student body and the SLT is very important, which is why I am to create a monthly Google form for the student body to anonymously share their ideas and concerns about the school in order for me to present this at the SLT if elected, so I can better represent your viewpoint.
Thank you so much. Ishmael, you may start with your rebuttal.
So you mentioned using a Google form. How will you make sure that that includes everyone from the school as we want to have inclusivity?
I think that if we could email it to the entire school, we can have it on Instagram, have QR codes for it in the hallways, so people who don't have social media can check their emails, they can still see it in the hallways and still see it like everywhere they go basically, and just really get everyone to be an active participant in this.
All right, thank you so much. Lillian, you may start your rebuttal.
How do you plan to also how do you plan to do the newsletter idea that you mentioned?
Well, the newsletter could be included a part of the Senate meetings that we do. And then also, since it is all the Senate meetings are presented to the history classes, I could show the newsletter in those meetings. So it's presented to everyone, they have access to it in their Google Classroom, and I could also email it to parents and teachers.
Thank you so much. We're going to move on to our final question. How will you be able to balance both student concerns and administrations? Lillian, you may start.
I think that I could be able to balance student concerns and administration's concerns by finding kind of a middle ground between students and staff, because I know that students and staff have very different viewpoints and don't always agree on things. But there's often a middle solution, mostly a combination of both ideas that I can use to find a solution to that. So yeah.
Ishmael, your response?
To find a balance between the administrative and like the students, I plan to, if there's a certain concern, I want to get the students' opinion on it and the administrative. And then during the SLT meetings that happen every month, I want to maybe like work it out since, as you mentioned, administrative does have different opinions than students, but eventually they do have a middle ground and we could find a solution to the problem if necessary.
Thank you so much, Lily. Your rebuttal?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Like, what do you, like, how do you specifically plan to balance out the administrators' concerns? Because you talked about the students' concerns, but not much about the administrators.
Like we mentioned before, the suggestion box and everything, like the teachers have a say in this and we want to include them as much as possible since they're a part of the student leadership team. And as well as the students, we will find how different their opinions are and how similar they are and work on the problems through that.
Alright, Ishmael, your rebuttal?
Okay. So as you mentioned that you wanted to include both administrative and student opinions, how do you plan on doing that?
I think if we sent out more Google Forms to the administrators and the students, we could get everyone's opinion. And like I said, like promoting it like on posters in the hallways, on Instagram, like on email in the classroom. I think if we promoted it, people would like, because like you all want to have like an impact on the school. Like you want to like, because like I know that you guys have concerns, especially about like the testing schedule this year, and like I want to be able to represent those concerns.
Thank you so much. You will now be seated. A round of applause for our JSLT candidates.
And now we welcome our senior class president candidates, Mohammed and Harris. You will now have 45 seconds for your opening statements, beginning with Elvis. You have the floor.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Elvis Chen, and I'm running to be your next senior class president. Many of you probably have already decided who you will be voting for tomorrow, or others still deciding or don't care at all. But I really urge you to go out and vote tomorrow, not by popularity, but by the trait that you want from your representative. My goal is to make your senior year more fun, less stress, and most memorable. So remember, on election day, vote Chen for a fantastic senior year.
Thank you, Elvis. And now we'll be moving on to Mohammed. You have your 45 seconds.
What is up, class of 2026? My name is Mohammed Nasrallah, and I'm running to be your next senior class president. In school, you will find me catching up on AP capstone work or playing basketball in the gym, or helping out the student union in the SU office. After a year of serving as your student union executive at large, working closely with this year's senior class president to plan out major events like Snowcoming, I've not only been equipped with the knowledge and skills necessary to manage our grade, but I've also heard what our grade envisions for our senior year. So with that said, don't make senior year a no-go, vote Mo. Together we will make sure that the class of 2026 lives up senior year to the fullest.
Okay, so now for your first question. What do you believe qualifies you for this position? Elvis, you may go first.
So for the past 3 years, I've been working very closely with all the class presidents, whether it was my freshman year or this year, working with Ethan or our previous senior class president, Benjamin Babayev. I mean, I think the actions speak on the results speak on its own. Basically all of your events since freshman year has been, coordinated by me and Jenna and Natalie. So like basically we know how to plan a grade-wide event.
Thank you, Elvis. Mohammed, whenever you're ready.
Unlike my opponent, who has jumped around from position to position year after year, from executive at large to club liaison, now to senior class president, which he actually opted into last minute, I have had experience working directly with the senior class president all year round, and I've had visions for what I want the grade to look like all year round since last year. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Elvis, your rebuttal? You may start now.
Quick question, do you know how many kids are in the junior grade?
About 300.
It's 302. Do you know how much senior dues cost? Do you know how much senior dues
About
cost?
$100. They're going to be $15 cheaper next year.
It's not $100. See, you didn't even take time to do your research, and you're here talking about you're qualified for this, you're qualified for that. But you didn't do your research. And so you said you've been working very closely with the senior class president, so how is that possible?
That is a lie. They're actually about $100. The thing about Elvis Chen,
It's Mohammed, you may start your rebuttal.
the thing about Elvis Chen is that he wears a mask, ladies and gentlemen, both literally and metaphorically. I know you guys time and time again that he wants to add. exactly are you, St. Elvis? All you have done in the past year is work tirelessly to do the opposite of what the student body desires. This past year, you actually made it your goal to make it nearly impossible to start a club at Townsend Harris High School. He went into the process, as a matter of fact, with the intention of recruiting as little amount of clubs as possible, strategically making the process more tedious and lengthy as a means of nitpicking out.
Just wanted to let everyone know this year's senior dues were $250 total.
$15 cheaper next year.
If elected, what would be your top priority and how would you ensure it is accomplished? Mohammed, you may go first.
One priority I have is to make it a priority to minimize senior fees and be completely transparent about student dues from the start. Additionally, I want to maximize the amount and quality of senior events that we hold, and one of the goals is to bring back senior lock-in, which is popular among the student body. Additionally, I want to shed light on Townsend Harris athletics to tackle our lack of school spirit. Additionally, I want to reform graduation. After watching the graduation ceremony last year, I want to make it my mission to ensure that the class of 2026 is nowhere near as rushed and unorganized as this one, a complaint voiced by several parents and students. And I've already...
All right, thank you, Mohammed. Elvis, whenever you're ready.
So definitely one of the biggest challenges that senior always face is the senior dues. So senior dues cost around $250. You have senior trip that costs about $400 to $500, and you have senior prom, that's $110. So that's total up to like $800 for your senior year. So basically, I've already started working on my plans. I've already reached out to many resorts and see a better option for the senior trip, so everyone could go on it, but also it would be affordable for everyone.
All right, thank you so much. Mohammed, your rebuttal?
Listening to Elvis speak about his goals and policies as senior class president, I'm noticing one big thing. These are all bland, recycled promises that I've heard before. What exactly do you bring that nobody else doesn't? Absolutely nothing. And the reason for this is because you don't actually want to be senior class president next year. And you hop into the senior class president race just days before the deadline. You don't actually have a vision for what you want the grade to be. These are all bland, recycled promises that we've heard in years before. You don't actually want nor care about how your senior year pans out as long as you're able to walk around in your fancy SU hoodie. This is your backup position, as he is unable to run for the SU. He was unable to run for the SU president and vice president.
Elvis, your rebuttal?
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. I have not seen you around at all. When have you planned a junior event? Was it freshman event, sophomore event? Where were you? Even on the SU, you have done nothing. Completely nothing. If you really think about it, you just sit there in the meetings, don't say anything. When do you ever advocate for your own grade? When do you ever do anything for your own grade? Other than saying that, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that.
Okay, thank you. And now for our final question. How would you make sure senior events are memorable? Are there any new events that you plan to add? Elvis, you may go first.
I mean, senior gets priority for most events. So senior lock-in, senior sunset, senior sunrise. So we have whatever precedent that we have. But I was also, I guess, enlightened by the freshman sophomore class president to do a citywide, a senior hangout. So basically connecting with senior class presidents from other high schools that your friends might go to, and just make a whole big event within the city, so that really can, enlighten your senior year before you go to college.
Okay, Mohammed, you may answer.
First things first, to make sure our senior year is memorable, I want to start by forming a strong, committed senior council and take opinions from everybody. And I want to begin this process ASAP, as the most important part in this process is making sure that everybody feels welcome to join and have a voice in the grade, to ensure that everybody is heard and that everybody can have a memorable senior year. Unlike my opposing candidate, who's only friends with freshmen.
Okay, Elvis, to the audience, please quiet down. Thank you. Elvis, you now have your time for your rebuttal.
I really love how you can only really...
Elvis, one second. We're not going to stop until we're quiet, okay?
All right, Elvis, you may start.
If all you could do is just complain about my personality, then I'm a professional, and then, oh my god, you have no clue where you are right now. All you can do is talk about, oh, I wear masks, I don't wear masks. Okay, what else do you have against me? I have done more work than you in the past 3 years, and you're saying you want to do all this other, but you could have done it this year, but you never done anything, right? And who shows up senior SU election comes out, and then, oh my god, I see Mohammed at a junior grade leader meeting for the first time.
Okay, Mohammed, now you have your time for your rebuttal.
I will recognize that I could have done a better job staying active with the junior grade leaders. However, Towards the end of the year, I did make an effort to attend meetings whenever I could and participate in the planning of junior activities. Leadership is about more though than just sitting in meetings like Elvis does and hanging around in Mr. Gelman's office. It's about what you have done behind the scenes when nobody is watching you. We've already seen what Elvis has done, which is absolutely nothing to make any advancements behind the scenes, and it is time for change. And that starts by not putting this person in charge of the entire senior grade.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have Color and Chemistry.
Alright, so Natalie, you may come up. So the other candidate is currently sick, so Natalie will just be answering one question.
But the other candidate, Donna Roses, will be releasing something on her social media later as a formal response to the questions we would have asked her here today.
So Natalie, you may begin with your opening statement. You have 45 seconds.
Hey everyone, my name is Natalie and I currently serve as your Student Union Senate Chair. Some of you might be wondering, what did I do in this position? For starters, I've established a check-in system to make sure all senators are presenting their slides to their history classes, and I've stabilized the meetings to bi-weekly. If re-elected, I will continue to ensure that this check-in program gets actually ensured and to make sure that all the history classes are getting the slides presented because I'm aware it's not fully 100% yet. On top of this, I plan to create a feedback form to put into all the bi-weekly slides to make sure you guys continue to have a voice on the SU. So, if you want someone with experience or just really like my slides this year, make sure to re-elect Nat for Senate Chair. Thank you.
Alright, Natalie, so for your one question. What changes, if any, do you plan on implementing within Senate committees to boost productivity?
Thank you for that question. So, this year, the Event Planning Committee and the Equity and Diversity Committee were revamped, so a lot of progress has already been made. In terms of peer tutoring, that has continued to be up and running, and Club Council, yes, it has been running a bit slow lately, but no offense to Elvis, we love you, Elvis, but if I'm re-elected, I will continue to oversee the committees and work closely with the heads to make sure that they are actually doing their jobs. For example, Equity and Diversity, I'll continue working with the heads. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You may now be seated. Now we will move on to our unopposed candidates. We're going to move on with Jordana, our junior class president candidates. You have 45-second opening statements. And that is all.
Good morning, Townsend Harris. My name is Jordana Lowe, and I will be your next junior class president. This past year, I was your freshman-sophomore class president and worked closely with the sophomore grade leaders to bring our great fundraisers and events. I'm looking forward to another great year.
All right, now I'll be introducing our SU and SU VP presidents, Jenna and Eve.
Good morning, Townsend Harris. My name is Jenna Hamid, and I'm honestly running for your next Student Union president. For 3 years, I have worked with the SU to raise awareness for your concerns. In this past year, I have led the junior grade to winning hallway decorating, implemented a testing schedule feedback form to implement a new testing schedule for you guys, and brought the junior grade to a trampoline park with the help of Elvis. Alongside Evelyn, I plan to make the SU the best it can be for both its members and the people that we work to serve each day, you. We are ready to not only echo, but amplify your voices. I hope that you can trust in us to put the unity in the student union.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Evelyn Chow, and I'm running to be your next Student Union Vice President. I currently serve on the board as Junior SLT, and through my responsibilities as Junior SLT, I have learned how to be a both responsible and effective leader. Running with my partner Jenna, the two of us hope to make Townsend your school and raise awareness to your voices. The two of us have various experiences in leadership positions, and with this experience, we hope to make your experience at Townsend the best it can be. So remember,
to achieve, vote Jenna
and Eve
for PvP.
Thank you so much to Jenna and Evelyn, and now we will be welcoming our candidate for Student Union Treasurer, Uma.
Good morning, Townsend Harris. My name is Uma Hardeo, and I'm running to be your next SU treasurer. I know school fees can be expensive and can be unnecessary burdens. I'm here to create various creative fundraising plans to help clubs, sports, and academic teams afford materials and opportunities. I will also work with all the grades to decrease and regulate trip and grade fees. I will be, unlike my predecessor, I will be active, organized, and timely with your requests. I know the race for treasurer is tough this year, but just remember, your money is my mission, and vote Uma for treasurer. Thank you.
All right, Sarna, you're up, SSLT.
Hello, Townsend Harris. My name is Sarna Ball, and I am running for your senior SLT position. As SLT, we serve as the communication, Ishmael said, between the administration and the student body. I want to ensure that your voices are heard and your concerns are embraced. My goal is to make sure that you guys have the best experience and to address all the problems that you might come through. With much involvement in school, whether it's grade leaders or clubs, I've always been committed to contributing to the school community and helping others. I'm very excited for this amazing opportunity to further contribute to the school and work with the SU to strengthen the school community. Thank you.
Now we're going to be welcoming our candidate for the senior class vice president, Bianca.
Good morning, Townsend Harris. My name is Bianca Chen. It's my honor to be serving as the 2025-2026 Senior Class Vice President. I currently serve in the Junior Grade Leader and the Student Senate, and I look forward to working with the next Senior Class President, whoever they may be, and to make long-lasting memories and opportunities as we navigate through our last year at Townsend Harris and enter into our next chapter of our lives. So on Election Day, remember to vote for B for SCVP. Thank you.
Thank you to all of our unopposed candidates for their opening statements. So now, because we have a little bit of extra time left in the period, we will be opening up the floor to audience questions for any candidate up here. So if any of you have questions, Ethan will run up and give you the mic.
Raise your hand if you have a question. Freddie.
I've always been dreaming about making a TV show out of Townsend Harris. Who'd be the star of the show? Elvis or me? I'm just sorry, this is for my creativity. Why would, who'd be the most popular student in the school's by senior year? Who'd be popular?
Mr. Gelman, what do you think? I mean, without a doubt, Freddie, it's got to be you. 100%. All right, do we have any other questions for any of the candidates, directed and specific?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to...
Hi, thanks. So concerning the senior class presidents, whichever, because you guys seem to have a lot to say, what about the senior class president of this year and I guess how things were run, would you want to do better? Like how would you do better on what was done this year by the senior class president?
So one thing that I heard a lot of complaints about was those mandatory senior meetings that everybody said was like they'd give you information, but a lot of the information was like either common sense or like their meetings were just useless. So I want to reform that. I don't know if like.
I mean, I've seen like a more successful senior class president having the position, if you want to say. So I have the perspective of like what can be improved and like really like what does the senior class president have to do?
All right, thank you guys. We have time for one more question from the crowd. Who's that? Is that Eden? Eden, is that you out in the middle there? Here comes Ethan to help you out.
So what was like? This is concerning the senior class president. So I was wondering like what was the purpose of that beef? Because
because when you were talking about those insults right there, you weren't really giving like why you want to be the president. You were just insulting each other, and I feel like that's like your only defense. That's your, in my opinion.
There is no beef. There is zero.
So sum up in one sentence. Why do you want to be president, Elvis? And then you can sum up in one sentence why you want to be president.
I wanted to be president since my sophomore year after seeing my sister's senior year pan out, and I was just able to see like the ins and outs of senior year and how things run, like what needs to be better and what people want to be better. So yeah.
Elvis?
I guess my biggest motivation was even during freshman year when, you know, like everyone hated the class of 2026. So like that really pushed me to really advocate for the class of 2026. And so like that's why I wanted to run for senior class president, because I know that you guys may not have the best high school career, but I for sure will make your senior year the best.
All right, thank you so much, Elvis.
Do we have time for one more, or is that it?
We don't have time for one more, unfortunately. All right, unfortunately, we have run out of time for today. Thank you so much for an engaging debate. It seems like that is all the time we have for today. I hope you all have fun. Please remember that ballots open tomorrow at 6 a.m. and close on Wednesday, 11:59 p.m. Thank you.